service, volunteer, please touch base with Rev Mo when able to see where you might fit best. All congregants are welcome. And mark your calendar for April 7th for a special Good Friday prayer meditation service of the 7 last statements of Jesus on the cross. Easter is coming very quickly. Let me see. Oh, the prayer box. Finally, there is a prayer box in the back of the room on the ledge, way up there. And you will find prayer slips and pens for your request. After service today, the prayer slips will be picked up by the chaplain of the day, who is Patty Cox. The chaplains will pray over the prayer slips, and then they are sent to Silent Unity for additional 30 days of prayer. Unity believes in the power of affirmative prayer. When completing the prayer slip, we invite you to affirm what you want more of in your life rather than focusing on the issue. For example, if you're not feeling well and you want to feel better, you might affirm perfect healing and health for your body. When we feel overwhelmed with too much to do, we might affirm clarity or seeing things in a new light. What we give our attention to is what grows. So we might as well affirm what we do not want. Affirm what we do want with less emphasis on the problem or situation. There is an opportunity to have a prayer chaplain pray with anyone who would like after the service. The available chaplains will be up front wearing purple stoles right here. Thank you. So this is the time in our service where we give over a little bit more of our attention to that still small voice within. Some of us call it God. In the old days, they called it Jehovah. And so we just take this time to go within so we can hear that still small voice of that intuitive nature within us, that spirit, that part of us that wants to come out and be verbalized in some form. So we just get still. And I invite you to put both feet on the ground and allow the chair to support your back. The chair has a function and it will take care of you. And if you can, put your palms out to be open and receptive. It's just a symbolic gesture to symbolize the opening of our hearts and the opening of our minds to all the possibilities with God. The human mind will box us into a limitation, but the spirit mind has no box. It is unlimited. And so we take this time to go within so that we can tap into that unlimited amount of source from God. Because we know with God all things are possible, but with the human mind, we can only reach so far. So I invite you to take a conscious breath, breathing in, and with that breath, we're recognizing that we are breathing in the attributes of God: love, connection, peace, harmony, joy. And with our exhale, we let go of that no longer serves us. Concern, worry, fears, trepidations, challenges. We turn those challenges over to God. And we do that by a symbolic gesture of letting go of the angst that we have around that challenge. And we just dissipate it with each breath we take. We breathe in as we let go, and we exhale as we let God take it over. For we illuminate our mind to the possibilities of God. We take this moment to be in a state of appreciation for all that we do have. For when we're focusing on the good in our lives, the challenge dissipates. We take on a new persona, a new era about us becomes evident. We see that good
We choose to see all of the things in our lives that we are so grateful for. We're so grateful for the community we have with each other. We're so grateful for the freedom of knowing we can choose the God of our liking. We're so grateful for being in a community of like-minded individuals where we see the possibilities of God. For let there be light. Let our minds and our hearts be illuminated with the goodness of all that's in our lives. For the ability to be who we choose to be. The freedom to make those choices. I welcome the light of God in my life. Affirm that. I welcome the light of God in my life. I allow my mind and my heart to be illuminated with all that is. I breathe in, filling my lungs with the light of truth, the light that illuminates my mind and shines within my heart. You can take this time to imagine your heart lit up in that brilliance and the warmth that it provides all those that you come in contact with, and how it warms our very soul. And now imagine we're illuminating our mind, for our mind opens up and we allow that space to be occupied by the will of God, the goodness of God, that knowingness that when I choose to follow the will of God, it leads me to my best self. And we breathe. We breathe. And I invite you now to go into the silence, to allow yourself, your heart and your mind to hear the still small voice of God as we are guided. We allow that guidance to be seen, to be felt, and to be heard. And now, in our own special way, we give gratitude for this time to just get still. And for this moment, we are grateful, and so it is. Amen.
I keep fighting voices in my mind that say I'm not enough. Every single lie that tells me I will never measure up. Am I more than just the sum of every high and every low? Remind me once again just who I am, because I need to know. I know I am loved, but I can't feel a thing. And I know I am strong when I think I am weak. But I know I am held when I'm falling short. And when I don't belong, I'll stay strong. And I believe, oh, I believe what you say to me. The only thing that matters now is everything you think of me. In God I find myself, in God I find my identity. I know I am loved when I can't feel a thing.
in the Lenten season, and we're taking the Sunday talks from Keep a True Lent by Charles Fillmore. Good little resource to have in your arsenal. And if you don't already have the Revealing Word, which is modern day language interpreted metaphysically. And then these are both really good assets to have. And we're on chapter 8, and the title of the chapter is Man. So somebody was kind enough to ask me this week, so what's this week's lesson about? I said, man. And then I went, oh, for God's sakes, Mo, you're going to have to liven that up. So I realized that if you're going to fall asleep today, could you sit in the back so that the snoring doesn't hit the echo, you know? And that way you're free to do that. But if you're not going to snore and you're interested, come on, move up, you know? So I did my due diligence and going to liven it up a little bit anyway. But we've been focused on the first chapter we did, the first week of Lent, we focused on the fall of man. And we focused a little bit on the Garden of Eden and the whole story that happens where man discovers that they have choice. And that's what the fall of man is. The fall of man is that we choose to follow our sense nature and not God nature. And it causes us to have a whole lot of stuff happen in our lives. Now, if I wanted to give you the short version of the fall of man, it means that we're totally 100% responsible for everything that happens in our lives. And that will scare half of you away. Are you telling me I'm responsible for this, and that? Yeah. Nobody wants to hear that. It's too hard for our sensibilities to pick that up. We're willing to take baby steps in responsibility. I'm responsible for that I got out of bed today. You know, the baby steps. I'm responsible for what I put in my mouth today. Baby steps. But we're not responsible when somebody hits us in the parking lot and damages our car. All I was doing was backing out, we say. It wasn't my fault. But in the world of agreement, it is. You know why? Because you were in the car and you backed out. It's as simple as that. Yes, somebody hit you, and they're responsible for not seeing you or whatever caused it. You're still responsible for everything that happens in your life. Now, here's the part that we forget about. If we eliminate the guilt that goes along with this feeling that I'm responsible for all the negative stuff that happens in my life, if we can eliminate that from our consciousness and say, fudge. I backed up and I was a little too close to that car. Very different than, he hit me. Now, it's true, you know, so you have to find that place in our consciousness that allows us to expand that what happens in our life I'm responsible for, and I'm going to do it differently. That was the first Sunday of Lent, the short version. The second Sunday of Lent, which was last week, had to do more with understanding the principle of man. The three phases of God, right? Mind, idea, expression. And how does that all fall into our everyday living? How do we as Christians understand the principle of man? Where does it come from and what do we do with it? It's not just words. So the main idea of us, and I wanted to share the very first sentence and paragraph of chapter 8. It's 30 words in one sentence. And if we could memorize it, it would change our lives. God is principle. Christ is the idea of principle as it is brought into creation, and man is that creation on its way to the perfect expression of the Christ. We are made in the image and likeness of God. And when we think about that, we go, really? God looks like this? Really? Yeah. Because our consciousness has created this image through what we know of ourselves. And the more we know about principle, that God within us, the more our countenance changes. Things change. I have a friend in my life, and by the time he was 40, and some of us have folks like this in our lives, he turned totally gray. You know, not salt and pepper, gray. He's 40 years old. And then the hair started to fall out. And as he got more in tune with the principle of who he is, that he is a child of God, and therefore I create through my understanding of God, his countenance changed and the hair came back. Brilliant black, beautiful lock of hair. And he's in his 60s now with this beautiful black hair. So he changed the molecules in his body the more he got in tune with who he is. We have the same capacity to do everything that Jesus did. Now you have to do you believe that? Sometimes we do. Sometimes. But most times we think he resonated on a higher plane of consciousness and therefore will never get there. I can see that. And that's the aspect of the fall of man. He said, what I do, you can do, and even better, and even more. We don't believe that part. We just don't think we can raise the dead, and yet some of us have raised the dead. And we do that by our clear consciousness, where we take on the truth of who we are. Easier said than done, because we've had, and we talked about this concept of our soul has been around many, many years, and it's picked up a lot of untruths. And as we evolve as human beings, and as we evolve into the Christ nature within us, the human side of us that fully encapsulates the idea that I am God. Blasphemy. Don't say that too often. You will lose friends faster than anything you could possibly say to them. But you are. You are God. Because if you're made in the image and likeness of God, we've just gotten off track a little bit. And we can get back on track. And we do it with baby steps, right? You know, we get this, oh my God, I never even thought of life that way. And we take these new thinking, which is really old thinking that's been sitting there, buried, and we unearth it and we become more of who we were meant to be. The principle of God. The principle of God, the principle of man, is where all of our potentiality is sitting there. And the Christ is us tapping into that unlimited potentiality, pulling it out, and creating an expression, the manifestation, the idea, the work, whatever it is. And we create that. You see, because part of the essence of who we are is the I am. I am. Repeat with me. I am. I am. Anything you attach your I am to becomes the truth of who you are. Remember Moses? So Moses is called by God. God speaks to Moses and says, Moses, I want you to free the Israelites from the hands of the bondage of the Egyptians. And Moses says, I'm good with that, God. I'm okay with that. Not sure how I'm going to do that. But who am I to even take on such a task? I'm just a shepherd. I'm just a guy that watches sheep. What the heck? And God says, but if you tell them, I am that I am sent you, you'll have credibility. He said, really? Metaphysically, what he's telling Moses is that when you put power behind your I am, nothing stands in your way. When you say, oh, God, I am so sore back here. Yeah, okay. The body will give you what it is you're putting your power and attention to. You get to be right, and your back will hurt. That's the responsibility that we have in our lives. Now, when our back starts to hurt, I'm not saying deny that. I am not saying that. But don't put your power in it. How about saying, I am getting better and better every day? Changes the emphasis. And go see a doctor. You know? In my home ministry, we had a woman come in with clearly a broken arm. You know, it was broken. And she had a little sling on it and holding it up and, oh my God, what happened to your arm? I fell. Oh my God, what'd the doctor say? Oh no, I'm letting God take care of it. How's it going? You know, because we do want God to take care of it, right? Well, what if our guidance is go see a doctor? You see? So there's this line that we draw in our consciousness, because that would be what some of us term metaphysical malpractice. We want God to heal it. We want the boat to come and take us off the roof. And as we drown, you know the joke. I sent the boat around 3 times. Because doctors are following the wisdom and guidance of God too. So they have a skill set that we could tap into, because our skill set's not there. You know, it's like, you know, your prosperity consciousness. You know, well, I want a Porsche. And you affirm it. I want a Porsche. Did you think about you might need a garage to park it in first? Florida heat, it's going to hurt your purse. You got to plan. You got to act as if, it's kind of like, I'm praying for rain, but you don't take an umbrella with you. What are you praying for? What are you attaching your I am to, and are you prepared to get it? That's responsibility for us. Because we have a priority. The universe has a priority that sometimes gets a little out of whack. And the priority is God first, right? No surprises there. We're pretty good with that. We might forget once in a while, but we'll go back and that's right, God's first. And what's second is self, us. We're second. Third is significant other, spouse. Fourth is family and friends. Fifth is career. Now, we get sometimes tangled up. Career sometimes jumps ahead of God, or our family and friends take precedence over our significant other. How many of us have ever lived with someone who's disabled? Whether it's a drug addiction, dementia, physical disability. The whole life around that household is predicated on the care of that person. We get out of whack. We get out of sync. And then we want to know why our back hurts. You see, it's tough. We live in an environment that gives us permission to blame others. And the I am is our way of reminding us, I'm responsible for what I put in my mouth, those words. You get to eat them. So where's your I am? Yeah. And it's up to us to pay attention to it, because that's really what spiritual growth is. It doesn't matter what religion you want to take on. The religion of responsibility is paying attention to what's happening in your life. Because if you don't like what's happening, you get to make different choices. Whatever those choices are. And I encourage people to seek the wisdom and guidance of God for those choices. Because they could be pretty cool, those choices. And doing the right thing is a cool thing. Because we know what the right thing is, we just don't want to do it all the time. Because it might mean having to shift our position, or, oh my God, I'm going to have to admit I wasn't right. Please don't make me do that. I'll do anything but that. Because being right is something that dominates who we are in a very unconscious level. And when we're paying attention, we can bring that consciousness up out of the darkness and go, oh my God, I'm leaving my husband just so I could be right. Oh. And we have to eat crow. We have to do all those things. Being right will kill you. Oh, my back hurts. You get to be right and you die. Because you put your power of the I am on that weakness within you. It's very subtle. And so man, this chapter that Charles Fillmore is trying to expose us to is the I am is our freedom ticket. It's the free ride on the boat to everywhere. And we get to jump on board or go, nah, I'm good. And we get to choose. And that's the choice we get to make all of the time. Everything that happens to us. You see, because the fall of man is making the choice that's probably below the line. We get defensive about our behavior. We go, I don't want to hear it. And we close ourselves off because we don't want to hear us being wrong. And God forbid we hear the other person's rights. It hurts. Because we want to stand in our cement and be steadfast in our righteousness, and you're not going to take me out of this position, dead or alive. And you want to know why you don't feel good, or why you have a headache, why you can't sleep at night. Because our body is struggling with who we are. And when we operate as a child of God, there's no fear, there's no trepidation, there's no challenges. There's just being in the moment and the presence of who you are, which is a perfect human being, evolving into more perfection. See, because none of us have done anything wrong. Repeat, I have done nothing wrong. I'm sorry. I have done nothing wrong. You barely believe it. Because the list of things that you know you could have done differently are sitting there. You know? Go to confession, for God's sakes. Do 3 Hail Marys and 4 Our Fathers, whatever it takes. You know? To let it go. You did the best you could at that moment. And you'll do it differently next time. And when we're paying attention, the next time will occur and you go, I get to do it differently. I think I'll do it this way. You know, honey, you were right about that. I should have done that. The earth will move. The whole relationship dramatically changes. It's up to us to see that. You know, you've heard the language, pick your battles, you know. So the toilet seat was left up again. Okay. You know, how many times do you have to, you know, I get it. So you just put the seat down because 5 out of 10 times it does get down. You know? Rather than, that's it. Right? How many times, and we go through this drama. Get him his own bathroom. That's the joy of 2 baths, 2 bedrooms. I get it. You know, that's the easy way out. And it works. It's a solution. I get it. All I ask is that the cup of milk not be in the sink when I get up in the morning. It's not a big deal. Until it is, right? Yeah. So it's up to us to use your I am factor for only things that you want in your life. That's the gift that we have from God. Because our consciousness and our unconscious and our superconsciousness are always choosing which one of the 3 do I want to pull this decision from. And the superconscious is where the principle of man sits, where God resides. You get to choose, or you can do the unconscious and live your life flatline, the world's against me, my back hurts. You get to choose. And the choice you're making is all day long. All day long, 24/7. The mind never shuts up. I have somebody in my life that I've asked over the last 10 years, so what are you thinking? Oh, nothing. I want to understand how you do that. Because, well, I was just looking at the trees. Oh, you were thinking of something. You know? Because it doesn't shut down. Its function is not to shut down. Its function is to continue to operate, to infill us with something. And we get to choose what that something is. The more we read spiritual truth books, the more things land in our conscious mind. They're pulled from the superconscious into the conscious mind. And we become more aware. We read it, we listen to a song and go, oh, that song was perfect. We're open. We're curious. We're committed to learning. You know, I know a lot of you retired thinking, oh good, I'm done with this. I don't have to think anymore. Good luck with that. Yeah. How many of you guys play some sort of card game out there? I just learned Zamba. For God's sakes. Holy moly. Give me the cheat sheet on that. Because our minds are going to keep working, we might as well give it what we want. If it's something that brings us joy, listen to the classical music you like, watch Huckleberry Finn if that brings you joy. Pay attention to what you're bringing into your consciousness. Does it bring you peace? Does it bring you joy? Is it troublemaking? I had a friend approach me that their book club, somebody joined their book club that is not drama-free. And they're like, we got to get her out of there. We got to ask her to leave. And I said, hang on. Who invited her? Got to hit that person first. Because that could be like their best friend, and you're going to ask this person to leave, and then that person's going to leave, and now they're whole, right? Crazy making. You have to pay attention. And it's easier said than you think. It really is. So here's your homework. Now, this homework is a little unconventional. And for those of you that are here for the first time, I'm not necessarily going to apologize, but don't let it be the reason you don't come back. Okay? Because usually the homework is pretty practical. So how many of you put your right shoe on first? You didn't think about it, didn't you? I don't know. Which one do I don't know. So here's the homework. I want you to put your left shoe on your right foot. Pick me, huh? And then put the right shoe on your left foot when you first get up in the morning. And I just want you to sit with it for 60 seconds. You don't have to walk around. Put the left shoe on your right foot, your right shoe on your left foot, and sit for 60 minutes. And during that 60 seconds, see, little slip there. While you're sitting there, what is it in my life that I want to change besides the shoes? What is it I want to do differently today? What is it I can let go of that doesn't serve me? What area of my life that it wouldn't kill me if I apologized for my behavior? Do something that brings you more to your Christ-natured self, which is whole, perfect, joyful, loving, caring, compassionate. All the things that we all say we want more of in our lives while we stay stuck in cement, not being willing to shift. For 60 seconds. And then simply end by asking, God, help me with that. And you will get whatever it is you need in that moment to make a shift. If you just do it for one time for 7 days, it's 7 less things that are in your life. 7 less that you have to cry spilled milk over. 7 more things in your life that you are responsible for, how it affects you. Make sense? It puts you in the consciousness of awareness, not running on automatic pilot. Being aware of what is happening in my life that I think I have no control over. You have all of the control. Those of us that are control freaks, you get to control your life. So take advantage of it. What is it I can do to bring more peace in my life just for today? You know? Yeah. It's a great homework. Left shoe on the right foot, right shoe on the left foot. Sit for 30, 60 seconds. I hate it when the brain gets ahead of me. 60 seconds. And ask yourself, what can I be doing differently in my life to bring me more godlike? And then do that. That's the real homework. Then do that. Because you will find a sense of, hey, my back doesn't hurt anymore today. Because you've let go of something. Because back pain is caused by hanging on to that which no longer serves us. Let it go. Let it go. Godspeed. And smile while you're doing it. Yeah. Have some fun with it. You know? I forgot to read the Bible verses from that. Time in our service for our offertory and our gifts. We are totally self-funded by your love offerings and your gifts. So all that you give, we are grateful for. And with that, I invite the ushers. And if you're a first-timer with us today, you're our guest. So you do not need to put anything in the love offering. Feel free to know that you're our guest, and we appreciate you being here with us. Offertory prayer, together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful.
So blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed.
Please come forward, folks. Thank you, guys. Let us just get still for a brief moment and we see these gifts going out into the universe to bless all the many hands that they touch, including the many hands of our ministry as we are blessed, and the many hands that are blessed going out into the universe. And so for these free love offerings, we are grateful, and we know that through the truth of it all, God is present in those gifts. And for this, we are grateful. Let us affirm our offertory blessing, this time using the pronouns us and we together. Divine love, as us, blesses and multiplies all that we are, all that we have, all that we give, all that we receive, and we are grateful. And so it is. Amen. You just gently raise your hand, those of you that have green tags on and are guests with us today. I know I saw a few. Look at these brave ladies coming into the front row. Oh, this is, wow. I was kidding. A couple that was sitting here. I said, are you sitting in those two chairs so you can bolt in case it isn't good? And they're gone. I don't feel good.
One was coughing.
I'll go with that. That's a lot better than what I was thinking. So you folks that are with us new today, thank you for joining us, and we invite you to have a cup of coffee with us so we can get to know you a little bit better. And you may have been given a welcome card. If you weren't, please make sure someone puts one in your hand. We would love to know who you are, get on our emailing list and so forth, and we have a blessing for you together. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ as you. And so it is. Amen. Thank you for joining us, folks. And with that, why don't we stand for our peace song and singing the prayer for protection.
Make a difference, everybody.